back. Welcome back. I want to be honest with you before we start. Week 18 was scheduled for last Wednesday. I was not well enough to broadcast, so we pushed. And that is not a failure of discipline. It is what discipline looks like when a human being needs to protect the work by protecting themselves. So, thank you so much for hanging out with us and coming back again on today. The challenge shifts one full week from here. So today is officially week 18. Week 19 will run next Wednesday on the 19th. And of course, week 20 will close this challenge on the 26th of this month. But every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern, we are here. One topic, one teaching moment, one shift that can change how your business operates. Now, if you are just joining us, here's what you need to know. I spent over 40 years in the federal government in logistics and contracting, with the last 21 of those years as a contracting officer on the other side of the table, evaluating proposals, managing 143 billion in federal contracts, advising over 11,000 contractors, and watching businesses win big or fall apart before they ever got started. This challenge takes everything I've learned and puts it directly in your hand. Now, what I saw was this. The businesses that survived the long haul were not the ones with the most freedom on paper. They were the ones with the most structure underneath the freedom. Structure is what freedom rests on. So take away the structure and freedom becomes chaos with a smile. Again, today is week 18, so let's get into it on today. However, before we get into today's topic, here's what has moved in the 2 weeks we were paused. And listen with one question in mind. How much of this landed on your desk because your structure caught it? And how much of it is landing on your desk today for the first time because you found out about it from me? Now, the first thing, the CMMC Reform Task Force RFI closes Friday. That's 2 days out. On August 14th by noon Eastern, that is the deadline to submit written comments to the Department of War on what the future of the cybersecurity maturity model certification program should look like. Phase 2 third-party assessments have been suspended since July 13. Now, the task force is asking industry 7 specific questions, cost drivers, effective controls, burden versus uplift, commercial cyber capabilities that could substitute for CMMC requirements, and how to streamline self-attestation for small and non-traditional businesses. Now, if you have real numbers on what CMM's compliance costs your firm, this is the direct channel to the people who are actually writing that next chapter. The task force report goes to the DOW Chief Information Officer on or about September 13th. And so comments must be emailed. Now, the RFI has a specific format. And so if you're not commenting at minimal, know that phase 1 self-assessment, NIST SP 800-171 revision 2, DFARS 252.204-7012, SPR S scoring, and the annual affirmations, all of those still remain in full force, okay? The second thing, SAM.gov has a planned maintenance for Friday night. That's August the 14th from 8 p.m. to midnight Eastern time. So if your bid clock is running against a Friday close, you need to know that the system is going down for a maintenance window on that night. Do not learn this the hard way, at 10:47 p.m. Friday when you cannot access your entity registration. So if you are chasing a bid, or you're tracking a bid that's closing, on Friday, do your due diligence and make sure you have whatever requisite information you need to have. But at a minimum, make sure you are at least certified and registered in SAM once you submit that offer, because you have to be. The third thing, SAM.gov ISR eligibility logic change. It's the same alert. The individual subcontract reporting eligibility logic has been revised to exclusively include first-tier subcontracts above $550,000 that were reported through FFATA. Now, what that means practically is that subcontracts that were missing from your eligible workspace may now appear there. Now, a record showing up does not automatically mean that an ISR is required. It means you have to review the underlying subcontracting plan and decide whether that subcontract is actually responsible under the plan. So do not just click through it, route it through your subcontracting compliance owner and decide with intent. Please do that. The fourth thing, FAR 52-222-90, the comment window closed on the 24th of this month. GSA information collection notice for the Executive Order 14398 contract-like instrument reporting is open through August the 24th. So if the reporting burden is landing on your firm, this is your chance to comment on necessary burden and practical utility. The fifth thing, FAR case 2026-002, that comment window also closes on August the 24th. Again, the same date. The FAR Council's information collection notice on the Revolutionary FAR Overhaul, Part 6, 7, 10, 18, 26, 37, and 41, asking industry for feedback on burden estimates and ways to reduce them. So if your reps and certs process, your public notice review, your service contract inventory, or your Section 7 acquisition planning is affected, the comment door is still open. So please provide input. The sixth thing, still with FAR 52-222-90, it is still an execution issue, even though the July 24th deadline has passed. So the FAR Council guidance is clear. The July the 24th target was for modifying existing contracts, but modification is at the contracting officer's discretion for contracts expiring by December 31st of this year. Now, the clause is still flowing into solicitations. Bilateral modifications are still going out. So the any tier flow down is still in effect. So do not treat a past target date as a past obligation. We are still obligated. So just follow up and follow through. The next thing is DFAR's case 2021-D011, the FOC expansion. The final rule is tracking to October the 1st. So the Defense Counterintelligence and Security Agency has told industry it expects the final rule by October the 1st, expanding FOC reviews to about 35,000 unclassified contracts. So that comment period closed on the 6th of July with 36 filed comments. So again, it's very important that we file comments when we have that opportunity to do so. If you are a DoD contractor or subcontractor with covered work about $5 million, above $5 million, the SF 328 disclosure, the NISS eligibility requirement, the 90-day mitigation clock, and the beneficial ownership reporting are all coming to your desk this fall. So be on the lookout. The last thing that we're going to talk about is the SBA capital news. The 7A and the 504 combined $10 million financing ceiling remains in effect from July the 4th. So SBA launched a modernized SBA.gov on the 30th of last month. And there is a new SBA critical suppliers prize competition up to $20 million in non-dilutive capital, as many as 6 prizes at up to $6 million each, with proposals due August the 21st for small businesses that can rapidly scale domestic production. So that's just 9 days out. So go check that out if you have not done so already. So quick question. I want you to drop a number in the chat, 1 through 8 for the item your business already had a structure for versus the ones that are landing on your desk today for the first time. And again, as always, please be honest. So, now look at that list or think about that list because it's not listed here for you. CMMC RFI in 2 days, SAM.gov maintenance in 2 days, 2 FAR comment windows closing in 12 days, FOSSI final rule in 7 weeks, FAR 52-222-9 is still active, SBA prize competition in 9 days. That's 6 live decisions on the table, and you are running a small business. Now, if your first reaction listening to that list was, man, I need to take a day off just to catch up. That is what week 18 diagnostic, is about. You want freedom, but you lack the structure that will earn it. So when we talk about a problem or what the real problem is, freedom in GovCon is not the absence of structure. It is the reward for building structure that runs without you. That's what freedom is. And so undisciplined businesses confuse the two. They want to step away from the pipeline, but they do not have a pipeline rhythm. They want to, delegate a proposal, but you don't have no capture to submission workflow. You don't have that. You want to stop being copied on every subcontractor email, but you never name the person with decision rights on subcontractor coordination. You want the freedom to take a Wednesday off, like I had to last Wednesday, but you do not have a system that keeps the business breathing when they are not in the room or when you are not in the room. So I have to be honest with you, because I lived it again 2 weeks ago. I did not want to push week 18. I wanted to push through and record. But that instinct is the exact reason so many owners in this industry hit the wall, because we build businesses that depend on us being in the chair every Wednesday. And then the day comes when we cannot be in the chair, a health day, a family day, a legitimate crisis, and the business does not have the structure to hold on its own. Structure, again, is what you put in place so that freedom is defensible. A contract control calendar that catches every SF30 and every option period, a compliance map from the statement of work or the PWS and section L&M to the person responsible, a weekly bid, no bid decision that follows a written rule, name decision rights for capture, pricing, proposal review, delivery, and CPARs, a subcontractor communication rhythm that does not rely on you as a single point of contact. And in a policy environment where CMMC, FOSC, FAR 52-222-90, the Revolutionary FAR overhaul, and SAM.gov changes are all landing at once, structure is the only thing that lets you actually take a day. If you do not have it, again, you just fail. It's just that simple. So undisciplined businesses want the freedom without paying the price. Disciplined businesses build that structure first, and then they take that day off. Now, through weeks 11 through 17, they were the diagnosis. You got stalled growth, doing too much yourself, progress without results, systems missing, survival mode, business lacking discipline, guessing instead of executing. Every week has been building to this. Week 18 is where freedom either becomes real or stays a wish. And again, all of it is incumbent upon you. Now, here's how you can build it. There are 3 moves. I do things in 3s, I think. Every now and then I may give you an extra one, but typically 3s. But here are 3 moves that everyone can take, and every one of them is actually achievable even this week. Ain't no purchase required. You don't need no new software. It's just structure. First thing I want you to do is build a contract control calendar you can hand to someone else. Every option period date, every schedule administrative modification window, every reps and search annual review, every CPARS due date, every subcontracting plan reporting date, every ISR review, every FAR 52-222-90 SF30 that could plausibly land on your desk, every solicitation clock you are tracking on one calendar with owners, with trigger dates that fire early enough to actually respond. And if your calendar cannot survive you being out sick for a Wednesday, it is not a calendar, it is a Post-it note. So you rebuild it this week, 2 hours of your time once, and then it runs for you. Now, again, this is a simple way of doing it because sometimes we make these simple things more complex. I know there are a lot of fancy CRMs out there that hopefully you all have leveraged. I know we can use Microsoft Project to do the same thing, but the idea is to get you into the chair or into the habit of gathering the information to just do it. Okay. The next thing is you want to map one workflow end to end with a name decision rights. So you want to pick one, whether it's capture pricing, proposal review, subcontractor coordination, or CPAR's narrative capture. One, not all of them. And in one page, you want to name the person who makes each decision inside that workflow, not the team, not we discuss it, a name. And if the person is you at every step, the workflow is not delegated, it is bottleneck. So again, I want you to pick one, map one workflow end to end with a name decision rights. You got to identify someone who has the responsibility for handling that task. And if your name is the only name on your list, again, it's a bottleneck. Because a named person, because you got to be able to delegate it, because otherwise you will not be able to take that day off. Otherwise, when a health crisis comes, you're going to push through because you're compelled to do so, because you're like, man, I got a suspense. I don't have no one I can delegate that to. Freedom you want does not exist because the structure you need has not been named. Do one workflow this week and one page, names, not roles. Again, the freedom you want does not exist because the structure you need has not been named. Do one workflow this week, one page. I want names and not roles. And then the last thing I want you to do is set the compliance checkpoint before anything leave the building. I said this at week 16, and I'm saying it again because it is the single move that changes execution quality. Before any offer package, any bilateral modification signature, any subcontract award, any CPARS narrative, any team agreement, any invoice submission, one person, one checklist, one signature, before it goes out the door, reps inserts, current and SAM, section L, answer in section L order, section M, criteria addressed one for one. FAR 52-222-90 clause reviewed by counsel where it appears. FOSSI posture documented and updated in NISS where applicable. SPRS scores current. CPAR's narrative captured in real time. The checkpoint is not you. That is the whole point. It is a named owner running a written checklist on a schedule that does not depend on your calendar. That is the third thing. That is how you set a compliance checkpoint before anything leaves your building. Now, discipline plus structure is exactly what my better proposal is engineered to produce. We was doing 3-session webinar series. They closed last month with from capture to submission, a readiness-driven flow from opportunity to evaluable on-time submissions. And anyone that registered, they had access to that full replay set. In the coming days or the coming weeks, I am going to upload all of those videos to my YouTube channel so that you can have access to them. But if you attended, this is just your reminder to actually work through the framework in your business this quarter. Do not let the recording sit on your desktop. If you did not attend, again, the platform itself is still open, and the framework is what's carried the discipline we have been building, for 18 weeks into your proposal room. Value, experience, teaming, and responsiveness. Those are the 4 dimensions federal evaluators actually score. Build your structure around them, and the source selection authority is not guessing at what your business does. They are scoring what you sent them. Now, the other delegation is still the weekly regulatory brief. If you want a single place that tracks the CMMC RFI deadline, this Friday, the SAM.gov maintenance window, Friday night, the August the 24th FAR comment windows, the FOSSI final rule, March toward October the 1st, the FAR 52-222-90 continuing modification cycle, and the SBA critical supplier prize competition due August 21st, plus the sources, deeper analysis, and the actions. I give my advisory clients. That is what this brief is for. And it's free for you to subscribe. And you can find it at https colon / IQ elegant llc.kit.com. The link is here. So in the comments or in either of the posts, whether it's on LinkedIn or Facebook or even StreamYard or YouTube. So if you're still reading every law firm alert and every federal registered notice yourself, and nothing else, the brief is the delegations. So take it. Again, I may not be tracking everything, but I am tracking some of the major things that are occurring from their sources. And if, hey, there's a source out there that you want to recommend that we add to the list for pinging, just please put that in the comments somewhere on Facebook or LinkedIn. Would be interested to find out additional information to make sure we're giving you everything that you need. So before we close, I want you to pick one. I want you to drop in the comments with the hashtag freedom. What is your freedom diagnostic? Is it the calendar gap? You do not have a contract control calendar someone else could run for a week if you had to step away. Every deadline lives in your head. If that is your gap, I want you to create that contract control calendar this week. Is it a workflow gap? You have not mapped a single workflow end to end with named decisions rights. Every decision routes back to you. Do you have a checkpoint gap? Documents leave your building without a name owner clearing a written checklist. You are trusting the last person who touched it. Is it a bandwidth gap? You could not take a Wednesday off if you had to. If you disappear for a week, the business would actually go dark. And it could be none of the above. You have built the structure, your team executes without you standing over it, and freedom is not aspirational for you, it is operational. I just want you to be honest, because the one that is yours is the one to build this week. And guess what? There may be multiple gaps that we have. The beauty of it is that we don't have to build them all at the same time. Do one, then go to the next one until you have it all done. And I promise you, once you do that, it's locked, it's in place. And when you onboard someone or you bring someone else into your hemisphere, now you have some place to refer them to so that they can go and review the information without requiring you to sit there and walk them through it. Now, So in RC's Facebook group is where the work continues. Between Wednesdays, members are posting their hashtag stall diagnostics from week 11, their hashtag halfway audit scores, the hashtag delegate from week 12, your hashtag progress from week 13, hashtag systems from week 14, hashtag survival from week 15, and hashtag discipline from week 16. And of course, a hashtag execute from week 17. And now what we're doing is hashtag freedom from this week. Come share, come read what others are saying. Come find your accountability partner for the final 2 weeks. What I do know is that, we can do so much collectively together. And come back next Wednesday, August the 19th at 2 p.m. for week 19. You don't have a clear plan. So bring honest answers because we are 2 weeks from the finish line. So here's what I want to leave you with on today. Freedom without structure is fantasy. Structure without freedom is bureaucracy. What we are after in this challenge, what a well-run GovCon business actually looks like, is structure that produces freedom as a byproduct, a calendar that runs decisions, a calendar that runs decision rights, that are named, a checkpoint that protects the work, and a founder who can take a Wednesday off because the structure is doing the work she used to be doing alone. I got to test my own system these last 2 weeks. It held. And that is the standard. Build a business that holds when you are not in the chair. That is the freedom you actually want. And it is not a mindset. It is 3 moves on a calendar. So do the 3 moves. 2 weeks left in this challenge. I will see you next Wednesday, August 19th at 2 p.m. if nothing else comes up. And for week 19, and we finish together on August the 26th for week 20. This is Dr. Lori Smith, CEO and founder of Act Elegant LLC, and Soaring Our Sheets Empowerment. And we will see you next Wednesday. Bye-bye.